to this video about how to install a localhost server. You may ask yourself, why do I need a localhost? Because I'm quite satisfied with my static web pages. But if you like to make some more dynamic web pages, more advanced web pages, you may need, or you need, a server, a web server, and you may have a domain or a web host at a hosting company. But in order to develop offsite, that means not on the live server, you need to have a local host that kind of mimics the environment you have on your hosting. So in your browser you have the ability to put in your HTML, your CSS and your JavaScript. And what happens when you want to make more dynamic websites? And dynamic websites, I mean something like, for example, this login, so you can have security and develop a backend for your website. Or perhaps you want to make a blog, and in order to make a blog, it will be quite cumbersome to code it all in the static web page with the HTML and CSS and JavaScript. And perhaps you want to give your users the ability to subscribe to a newsletter, and to do that you also need some kind of a server. And perhaps you want to make a gallery where you can upload your images, and for that you need to have some scripting on your server. You cannot do that with HTML, CSS and JavaScript alone. So what is a server? Usually we consider a server as a computer that resides at a hosting company where you can host your domain or whatever, a web hotel. But you can also be you can also consider it as a piece of software that runs on a server on a computer. And this server software can be on an external computer, and it can be on your own computer. And this is what we are working with here: a local host, a local server. So it can be at a domain, or it can be at your local domain called localhost. So you can consider this: you have your browser with your HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then you can have a small server inside your own laptop or your own desktop computer. There are 3 technologies you can choose from when you want to install a localhost. The one we'll be working with here is this one called XAMPP or XAMPP. And this technology, or this server software, runs on both Windows and Mac. Then we have the XAMPP server, and the XAMPP server only runs on Windows. Then we have the XAMPP server, and the XAMPP server only runs on Mac. So what's inside this server package or server software? It runs on a Linux, that's a penguin logo. It runs the Linux operating system, which is a Unix operating system like macOS. It runs an Apache server. An Apache server is this server we'll be working a lot with, because it's the web server, and that's the one that makes it possible for you to have your local host and contact it. Apache server is actually the most widespread, most used web server in the world on the internet. And then we have the MySQL or MySQL database server. We will not be working with that for the moment. And then we have the PHP, and the PHP is quite important because this is what we're seeking. We want to make some dynamic on our website, or make our websites more dynamic. And in order to do that, we need some scripting language, and PHP is that scripting language we will use for making, for example, a login, a blog, a gallery upload, or whatever it may be. So PHP runs on our local host and makes it possible for us to make our website dynamic. We can make logins, we can make gallery upload, we can make newsletters, we can make blogs. So we decided to go with the XAMPP, and in order to get this and to install it, we need to download it first. and we can go to this website, www.apachefriends.org/ens/XAMPP.html, or you can just Google XAMPP. And you install it by following the instructions on the website, and in a moment I will show you how. And you will open the control panel as soon as you have installed it, and then you will type http://localhost in your browser, and then you can see that it's working. So let's go to our browser, and when I go to the XAMPP or XAMPP page at apachefriends.org, it's possible for me to download the installation for the XAMPP server. So in my case it's for macOS, so I will click on this link, XAMPP for macOS X, and scroll down here and download this universal binary. Then I have to wait a few seconds before the download begins. And now the download has finished, and my installation is right here on my desktop. So I'll double click it and open. And get ready to install it. So I'll just drag this XAMPP folder to my application folder, and it will install my XAMPP folder immediately. And now the installation is done, and I can scroll down to this XAMPP folder here, and if I want to start my server, I'll just double click this control panel. The control panel will start the servers, and if I double click it, and this is the first time, so I'll get this warning, and now I can start my Apache server. The Apache server is the web server, and this is the server I need to start right now. There's also a MySQL server, which is a database server, and FTP server if I want to enable other people to upload files to my server, but I will only need this Apache server. So now I need to just type in my password in order to boot the server, and now I can control or verify that the server has been started. So I will go to my browser and type in this localhost URL, and now I can see that my XAMPP server, my XAMPP server, is running. So I click on English to go into the backend of XAMPP, where I can see which tools are installed. Right now I don't need any of these tools. If I would like to see how the PHP has been installed or what settings are for the PHP, I can go to the PHP info, and there I can see that this is PHP version 5.3.1 and a lot of information about PHP, how it's configured and all that stuff. But right now I only need this. Now I know that my localhost is running, and I'm ready to do some PHP programming. And I will just make a quick hello world script to check that my PHP is working. So I will go to my Dreamweaver and set up my site. In Dreamweaver I will go to manage sites. I have a lot of sites, but I will create a new one. I will call it PHP, and I will put it where, let it point to my XAMPP folder, because in the XAMPP folder there's a folder called htdocs, and htdocs is where the server is looking. That's the root of the server. It's looking for my PHP files there. That means I will put all my sites into this htdocs, and in here I have there's these basic files. These basic files are those that you saw before on this page. See, that is localhost/XAMPP index.php. And if we go to here, we see there's a folder called XAMPP, and there's a file called index.php. Like when we code the HTML sites, the static sites, we have an index.html file, and in order to have the server to look in a folder for the default file, we have to name it index.php. But I'll just choose this folder as my root folder, as it says here. And when I choose this, I can go and specify my server. So now I told Dreamweaver where to put my files on my hard drive, and then I have to set up the server as well. So the server will be a localhost server. It doesn't matter what you write here, just so you can find it in the drop down over here. And I will choose a local host or local server, and the server folder will be the same as before. That means I go into programs and into XAMPP, the htdocs folder. That's my root folder, that's my server folder. And then I'll just write localhost down here, because that means I can just view my pages or my files by right-clicking or pressing F12 on a Windows computer. And in the Advanced tab, I'll just click this automatically upload files to server and save. Because when I connect to a live server, an FTP server, it will automatically upload my files when I press Command S or Control S on Windows. So I'll just save these settings and click on this testing. That means that I can test my pages locally with the local hosts, and then I press save. So now I'm done. I have my PHP site up here, and then I would like to add my file. And here I can just add my Hello World site, Hello World page. But as you can see, as default, when you install on Mac, it's the htdoc folder is read only. So I have to go and fix this. So I'll find my XAMPP folder again down here, and in the htdocs, I'll just step right back to the XAMPP files, and then choose the htdocs folder and press Command I for info. And down here I will just tell the operating system that it can be read and write for everyone, so it's possible to write files to this folder. So now I can just close this one, and when I right click on this one and ask for a new file, I can create one called hello world.php. And to check that my PHP file is working, I'll just put in hello world from PHP. This should work because this is plain HTML. And down here I will make a heading 1. And in order to write PHP, we need to have a PHP code block, and we begin with the less than sign, question mark, PHP, and we end it with question mark, larger than. So inside this I can write my PHP and then mix it with the HTML. So I will just write echo, that means output in PHP, hello world, this is PHP talking. And I have to put it in quotes, so PHP recognizes this as a string, and I have to end it with this semicolon. Let's save it and see what happens when I go to my browser, and instead of this I will write hello world.php. See, now I can see that this is working, but I have this strange fellow. It shouldn't be there, so I'll just go and have a look. Oh, it's down here. I put 2 of these. So when I end this PHP block, this will be recognized as plain HTML. So I can just delete this one. Now this is a block, PHP code block. And just to verify that this is actually PHP doing something, I can create a variable in a new code block. And this variable, I have to begin with the $. I can call it a number and give it the value 1. And then I can echo number. So now I'll write out this number. And when I reload this page, you'll see I have 1 here. And in order to show that it can do something else, I can just make a line break, and then add 1 to the number with the operator ++. That means it's actually the same as number equals number +1, but it's easier to write number ++. And then I will just copy this line to output the value of the number again. So hopefully it will say 1 and 2 like this. So now I can verify that my PHP is actually working. If I want to make a folder with some PHP files, I can just create a new folder here. And let's say this is my PHP testing folder. In this one, I'll just put in my hello world file. Don't update this. And then I would like to just go to my browser and type PHP testing. And if I do something like this, I will just get a list of the files in the folder. Then I can click on my hello world.php. But if I would like my hello world.php to load when I just write localhost/php testing, of course I shall do a little correction. I should write index.php instead. So when now I reload it, I will get the content of my hello world file as before. And of course I don't have this hello world.php anymore. Now I only have my index.php. So remember, when you want to make a start page for your website, always call it, always give the name index.php.